Well, that's cracking, everybody. How's it going? I just want to explain the build planner, which is www.norestforthewicked.gg/planner. This is how people make builds in the game, and they use this website so that they're able to see what enchantments go well together or can go together. So let's start with armor. I want to make a physical build. I'm going to go with cloth. You pick your armor from the list. So in this case, I'm just going to go with the rags. You pick what type of gear it is, white, blue, or plagued. In this case, I'm going to go plagued. The creation level and upgrade level, you scale that up. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be max level 16, aren't you? So let's go to our enchantments now. I want armor pen. You can scale that up. It goes up to 10%. I want crit chance on every single piece. And I also want physical damage. These are the damage stats that I want on every single piece of armor. And then we're going to add our utility, physical resistance. And then we're going to add a negative effect. So in this case, I'm going to add unrepairable. And because of this, I'm going to make sure that I've crafted a piece of gear that has the indestructible facet. If we have the indestructible facet, the unrepairable is negated and doesn't do anything. Now for the gems, because I want this to be a PvP build, I want to reduce the amount of stagger that I get. I want to be on top of people and chasing them down. So we're going to use mottled granite for this. So I'm going to chuck that in there. And now I click save. Before I do that though, you can see here there's an exalted tab. So if you wanted to replicate the ideal conditions, you can exalt using this little counter here, each stat that you would prefer to be upped. So in this case, I want my crit chance to go up. That would be ideal, optimal. Now let's make our pants. The pants are going to be the same. So I'm going to go cloth. I like the Sears pants for these ones. I just like the aesthetic of it. Same enchantments. Armor pen. We're going to go crit chance. We're going to go into physical damage. And you'll notice the reason why I'm going into physical damage this time is because it scales 5% higher than the other elemental stats. So you can actually hit harder with a physical build. Alright, and moving on. The utility enchantment here is going to be physical resistance. We're going to add our poise gem. We're going to add indestructible. And then we're going to add unrepairable. And for this piece, I also want the crit chance to go up. Now the body armor. This is an interesting one. If you want your build to be really fast, say you want to go a ranged character, you want to make this chest cloth to keep the weight down. So in my case, I want to be more of a bruiser. So I'm going to make mine plate. And max level plate armor has 400 armor on it. So we're going to go with the Eversoul Knight armor and increase that level. And you can see we got 400 armor on that one. And that way you only have to swap out the chest for cloth or chest for plate, depending if you want to go melee bruiser or ranged DPS like say bow or something. Putting in the enchantments with the armor pen, scale that up. The crit chance and our physical damage. Now the utility for this one is going to be the same. I want this one to be... We could even do health regeneration. That might actually be nice too. Health regeneration in combat is pretty strong. So let's do that. In fact, we could also do some health regen on our gems up here too, just to make sure we got a bit more health regeneration. And then the same with the negative enchantments. We're going to go unrepairable and indestructible. The exalted ones for this one, I want to be physical damage. And then finally, we're going to move on to the gloves. I'm going to make these cloth again. And I like to use the Planeswalker knuckles for these. It's to do with the crafting material type. They're easy to craft. So just cheaper in general. Same again with the armor pen. crit chance, and we're going to go with the physical damage. All right, where are you? Physical damage, 10%. And then our utility is going to be, I want to get lifesteal against bleeding enemies, because the weapon I want is going to be a bleeding weapon. So we'll do this, and we're going to add the same unrepairable and indestructible. The gem is also going to be another skull for healing, so medium skull. And we're going to exalt the physical damage on this one too. Now this is just ideal. This is a random chance when you exalt to get these stats, but we're going to hope for that. Now moving on to the weapon. I would like to use an axe, a two-handed axe. So we're going to go great axe. The broken fang. I don't want it to be plagued. I just want it to be magical. I want to scale it up and I want it to hit really hard. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do durable facet. We're going to go damage increased by durability. And then we're going to increase our durability further with an enchant to 75. So what this is going to do is give us a 150 total durability increase. And we're going to get 10% of that as extra damage, which will be 25%. Now, for the last one, we want crit damage, because we already have a bunch of crit chance. The gem that needs to go in this is a chip spike, so that we gain bleed infusion. And then if you like, you can add some runes. So for the runes, I want to add ones that break block. So double crush, and I want to add in something like tremor slam that breaks poise. There's extra poise damage. And let's see here. Wall breaker, let's say. We'll save that. You can see now that we are at normal weight, and this is the stat spread that we are using. So 22 health, 20 stamina, 62 strength, and equip load. Now the reason why the build plan is so good is because now we're able to move this equip load marker, and you can see the weight shift on the bar over here. We can actually see exactly how many stat points we need without wasting any. So we can put that down by putting our equip load up to 23. Now we're at a normal weight, which is pretty good. You can also add in some utility runes. So utility runes that I would add for this build would be damage surge. There it is. So I would add damage surge, and we could add in blink. There might be a use for it. Anyway, you get the idea. You can add in your runes, and then we're going to add in our rings. So since this isn't a build guide per se, it's a build planning guide. It's going to add in the rings that I would use, which are the agility ring. It's going to allow us to move faster and attack for longer. Going to combine it with the jade ring, which is going to give us stamina back on hit. And the last one, we can either use something like the willow cap ring, or we can get extra armor from something like the stone tusk ring. In this case, I'm going to go with the willow cap just to make us move a bit faster here. Makes us attack and move faster, so that's a good one. And that's how you can make your own builds in No Rest for the Wicked using this tool. It's a great tool. And once you've done this, you can just go to the save build link. So it'll give you the link here. You can click this clipboard and it says copied. And what I like to do is just add it into Notepad. So I have a bunch of builds here already that I've made. And this one here is the physical axe one. So we're just going to paste it in there, and now we have a saved build. Now before I go, there's some stuff to consider here. If you choose to use these gems, for example, the mottled jewel, see that it says 40% at max focus. If you're going to use those gems, you're going to need a ring that uses health to do your focus casting. So a battle cry ring or ring of determination is going to cover that gap. You're going to be able to cast with health. But you're going to need a lot of lifesteal to get the health back. Now if you use a gem, for example, say a mottled black pearl, You get a 50% bonus power increase at 50% health, right? So you have to be half HP. It says low health, which is 50%. So you'd have to be at 49% health to get the bonus. In order to do that, you want to change your cursors to reduce maximum health. So max health reduced by 20%. And then the next thing you want to do is add your ring, which is going to be a ring of determination or battle cry ring. And because we're using these rings here, we're going to add a plague ring. So you'll see that it adds a bunch of lifesteal, but only if you're at low health. And you're going to need the max health to be reduced. So if we add the plague ring right now, and we add that to 30%, and our lifesteal, we'll max that out at 20. We'll change these pants here. If we change the stat here, so that should be 50%. So now our gems will proc. The model black pearls will proc. And so that's something to consider when you're building and how to put cursors together, make them work for you. I hope you found this useful. I use this tool a lot, and it sucks up a lot of time, to be honest, because I'm farming all the stuff to try and make these. But yeah, it's quite a bit of fun, and it saves you making any mistakes. But yeah, that's going to be it. Have a good day/night, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.